Help me, Robert the Bruce. You're my only hope.
What's up, YeshGamers? Robert the Bruce here, and today I'm talking about the Mac Daddy of all blasters, the Destroyer of Faces, a weapon so overpowered that the original pistol from Halo was like, whoa, fellas, I was never that OP. That's right, this superpowered sidearm is the DL-44. Now, I and most of the sane internet agree that this gun is a bit overpowered, but that does not mean that it dominates against all other weapons in all scenarios, and you can just run around without strategy because you can't lose. Let's take a look at it from all angles and see how best to use it. First, let's talk about close quarters, because in close quarters, the DL-44 is kind of the Chuck Norris roundhouse to your dome piece. It's insanely brutal and the main reason so many people call this gun OP. If you've played the game for more than 8 seconds, you've almost certainly had that moment where you get the drop on a bad guy, you're feeling proud, you think it's a sure kill, and suddenly he whips around and takes you out first. After it happens a few times, you know even before you see it pop up on the death screen, he had the DL-44. Now if the DL-44 was a frat boy, well then close range battles would be like the Axe body spray aisle at the store. It's where it thrives and feels the most comfortable. As you'll see all throughout this video, you need to be hip-firing this weapon. Hip-firing is really the way to go with most weapons, in most situations, throughout all of Battlefront. But when talking about the DL-44, you definitely want to be hip-firing. The only reason to ever zoom in is if the enemy is a decent distance away, and you're safe enough to slow down and pop off a few well-placed shots for the kill. Now in most situations though, we don't got the time for that kind of nonsense. So strafe, hip-fire, and profit. So where is the DL-44 weak? Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's weak because it's still not bad, but it's definitely not as powerful once you get to longer ranges. Now if someone is posted up with an EE3 or E11 at long range, well you're better off seeking out another path and another bad guy to take out. Like I said earlier, if you have time to do it, aka the enemy is shooting at someone else, well you can line up the shots and take out baddies that are farther away. If you've been spotted though, it's best to just move along. That being said, if you've got your sassy pants on, you can try to go the way of the ninja and jetpack towards the bad guy. Close a lot of the distance and level the playing field. Toss out a detonator while you're mid-flight and you just might be onto something. Now if you don't have a jetpack or smoke or anything that helps you get closer though, don't end your epic kill streak by thinking that the blaster that rips faces off at close range will somehow still help you win the battle from a distance. You know, it's like they say, he who fights and runs away doesn't help take the objective, or something like that. Regardless, put yourself in situations where this gun dominates, and as you may have guessed, you'll start to dominate too. Now if we're going to discuss why the DL-44 seems to be like it got a little more love than other blasters, well there's a couple obvious reasons I see for that. First and most importantly, this is the iconic pistol of our very own lovable Han Solo. If you're going to have a bunch of guns that are randomly used throughout the Star Wars universe, and then this gun that is infamously tied to a character that most people like, well it makes sense that you'd want it to be a little special. It'd be kind of lame if this pistol was garbage, because then everybody wanting to get all Star Warsy and use it just because of who it belonged to, well they'd be at a disadvantage. And that's no bueno, which is Italian for not cool in a Star Wars game. Now along with that reason, it's the last gun you unlock, and I know that everyone loves to cry about high-level players having all the best weapons, and this game or that game is awful, because new guys are at a disadvantage, blah blah blah. Well, to those people, first I like to say, let me recommend some delicious cheese and crackers to go along with all that wine. I partially agree, yes, new players should have weapons that at least make them competitive. But there's also a badge of honor that goes along with getting to a higher rank, and I like there to be a little reward once you get there. Helps motivate players to keep leveling, and makes you proud when you get it. Now lastly, this was the gun given out to players that ordered the deluxe edition, so purely from a marketing standpoint, it'd be kind of stupid if the DL-44 was Garbo. Hey, thanks for giving us extra money, here's a gun that blows. Now let's all be real, it had to be pretty powerful for that reason alone. So all in all, is it a little annoying when you get killed by it and you think you should have gotten the kill yourself? Well sure, but that's really not a big deal. I'll give you an insider tip that's super secret and unbelievably high level. If an enemy keeps owning you with the DL-44, switch to it yourself. No, it's so crazy it just might work. Now if you don't have it unlocked, well A, go level up more, and B, since we know it's not that great at long range, just switch to a longer range weapon and work the environment so that there's more distance between you and your enemies. If all else fails, make sure you travel with a teammate or two so you can take advantage of strength in numbers. Teamwork makes the dream work. Now that about wraps it up for our time with the DL44. Thanks so much for watching, say hello to that like button, and hit me up in the comments. And as always, I'll see you on the battlefield.